Okay, welcome everybody to today's Translation Manchester seminar, part of our monthly series. My name is Fiona Foster and I am one of the translational research managers alongside Alessandro Ferroni. And we manage Translation Manchester and the Translation Manchester Research Network. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank ICRA for all her help in setting up today's seminar. So this monthly seminar series has been designed to help showcase the partners of the Translation Manchester Research Network, which includes over 60 partners and which include facilities, institutions from across the university and from all of our partners. And they all help support translational research within the university. And you can find details about all our partners in our booklet, and the link for the booklet will be posted into the chat. So normally we have two partners from our network present, but today we have a special seminar from Dr. Lijing Lin, who is part of the Translation Manchester team. She is our translational research bioinformatician, and today she is going to tell us all about the expertise she can provide. But before she does that, I'd just like to mention some general housekeeping and Zoom etiquette. The session is being recorded, as it will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, as all the talks are. So they are there for your resources. So please keep your camera off and yourself on mute. And we will open the session at the end for questions, either via the chat or you can open up, turn your mic on and ask a question at the end. There will also be a short Zoom poll at the end. So please do stay online, as it's part of Lijing's exciting talk, I believe. So I will now hand over to Lijing to tell us all about what she can offer. Thank you, Lijing.
Thanks, Fiona. Thanks for introduction. So I'll just share my screen first. Hi, everyone. My name is Lijing, and I'm a translational research bioinformatician from Translation Manchester, and I'm happy to present today's seminar. So, as Fiona briefly introduced, Translation Manchester is funded by Wellcome Trusts to provide support for translational research. That is the process of translating basic research into patient-focused research to improve healthcare and well-being. And from one of our surveys done back in 2020, access to informatics support has been identified as a translational bottleneck for researchers here in Manchester. And reflecting on my own research experience, here are some common bioinformatics hurdles often faced by data generating labs. Firstly, bioinformatics needs are everywhere. However, there is often a lack of bioinformatics expertise within the research group, including students or postdocs. And even existing expertise could prove short-term because students or postdocs may move on. Therefore, training is needed. Secondly, PIs without a computational background could face difficulties in supervising computational PhDs or postdocs. Therefore, we need a culture of continuous collaboration between wet lab and computational PIs. Thirdly, from time to time, there is a lack of effective communication between wet PIs and central informatics support. Therefore, regular workshop tutorials or seminars are usually needed. To unblock the informatics bottlenecks, Translation Manchester provides fundings, trainings, and expertise to address this. And this is done through three channels. The first one is access to expertise. This is to provide fundings for researchers to source expertise external to their immediate research group, such as expertise in bioinformatics or biostatistics. Secondly, this informatics training scheme which provide opportunities to upskill researchers. Thirdly is request bioinformatics expertise. This is to provide support and training in order to build capacity within a research group. In this talk today, I will go through these 3 channels one by one to introduce the informatics support provided by Translation Manchester. Firstly, access to expertise. I've listed here a list of bioinformatics experts and computational biologists within University of Manchester. This is by no means a definite list. Just to give you an overview of expertise internally, access to expertise funding provides you funding to access to service provided by, for example, research facilities. They also help you to establish collaborations with PIs and their research groups within, for example, biological science school. They also help you to establish collaboration with bioinformatics collaboration unit, for example. And recently, with the increased popularity in single-cell research, a single-cell research hub was built, which gather researchers in basic and clinical research. So if you are applying single-cell research to enhance your research programs, you can check out the single-cell research hub researchers there and to see if you could use access to expertise funding to establish collaboration with them. And more details about access to expertise. This is a funding scheme offer up to 25K to researchers to access expertise external to their research group in order to tackle a specific translational bottleneck for a project with a 6 to 9 months in duration. The expertise is not limited to bioinformatics. You can also access to expertise such as software development, research nurse, or regulatory advice. I give a list of examples of successful applications in the previous course. These applications range from 3 months to has project ranging from 3 months to 12 months, offered fundings from 7K to up to 25K. Luckily, this year's access to expertise call is still open, but it will be closed next month. So it's going to be closed on 22nd of July. And the award will be announced in the last week of October, and the project could start in November onwards. So the second channel is provided by Translation Manchester to tackle the informatics hurdles is informatics training scheme. So this scheme has been established to provide researchers with informatics training and skills which they can apply to their research projects. Successful applicants will be offered a place on the scheme, and the teaching fee will be covered by Translational Manchester. Places on the scheme are funded per unit. Each applicant can apply for up to 2 units. This is some numbers from the previous years, and from 2022, we will include 6 different masters and PG cert programs into our scheme, with a mixture of face-to-face teaching, blended teaching, and purely online teaching units. So how to apply? We'll be launching a workshop on 12th of July. This is an opportunity for you to discuss the course unit choice with teaching staff and the Translation Manchester team. On this workshop, you'll be given an overview of the scheme and all the courses on offer. And on our website, you will find a brochure. And in the brochure, you'll be introduced all the units on offer in this scheme, and you could select up to 2 units. You then need to complete and return the online application form to our inbox. And note that the application deadline for this year is 8th of August. Once you've been offered a place, you will go through a registration process to get more details of the units. And at the end of your training, you'll be asked to complete an end of training report. So, and a third channel is the newly launched service called Bioinformatics Expertise Service, provided by Translational Manchester. This is offered by a translational research bioinformatician, currently myself. The aim is to build capacity and provide training and support for people to carry out their own independent analysis. So this is different from access to expertise. What can we help with? We can help with identify bioinformatics bottlenecks or hurdles. We will then signpost appropriate training for the target project. We'll also provide one-to-one training and support for independent analysis. We'll also discover various collaboration options for you if needed. How to apply? We've set up a webpage on Translational Manchester website. Please visit the website, and I believe the link will be shared in the chat. You will then need to fill in an application form, provide details of your research project, which will help us to assess your need and arrange an initial discussion. After that, we will either signpost relevant training to you or provide materials for you or arrange further discussion or follow-up support. And side by side to the request Bioinformatics Expertise Service, I have also been collating bioinformatics training availabilities and online learning materials. So on this doc, which I will be updating on a weekly basis, these are all opportunities, bioinformatics related training opportunities that you could apply, either internal or external. And this courses covered core skills and also specialized training in bioinformatics. I'm also collating self-learning materials for you to learn bioinformatics. So this is a GitHub repository, and this is a work in progress. I'm collecting a list of freely available training materials, and hopefully these materials will be sufficient for self-learning. And these materials are categorized into different categories for you to make your own choice. In the meanwhile, I will also provide support if it's needed while you're learning this. So as I'm currently the bioinformatician in the team managing this access to bioinformatics expertise service, I thought it would be useful if for me to show some of my previous work, to give an example of how I will answer a research question using bioinformatics. This is a project on asthma. I'm using here nice figures made by one of my colleagues to explain the project. So we all know that asthma is an umbrella term. The diagnosis of asthma comprises of multiple diseases, including allergy, lung function, poor lung function, exacerbations, wheeze, etc. Each of these diseases have distinct mechanisms. And a big question is there any way we could subtype asthma so that each subtype has similar causes? This is important as it will lead to a more precise treatment for asthma. There are very rich data available for this project, including phenotypic, immunologic, and genetics and epigenetics data. I'll briefly go through the top two here, as this will be used throughout this talk here. For phenotypic data, these are all from a birth cohort where more than 1,000 children were followed since birth until age 18. Phenotypic data consist of more than 1,000 clinical variables coming from questionnaires or information extract from primary care record. We've also have immunologic data where blood samples were collected from children at age 8, 11, 16, and 18. These blood samples were stimulated using 15 different viruses and bacteria. Then 28 different cytokines were measured in order to measure children's immune response to this virus and bacteria. Here I give an overview of the immunological data at age 11. So this is a data presented at a population level. Therefore, each cell represents one cytokine response to one particular stimulus, average across 307 different children. However, what we are more interested in is these immune response at an individual level. So we would like to know what is the pattern of individual children immune response. To do that, we pick a particular virus to look at. This is rhinovirus 16. Well, what we would like to know is, can we characterize multiple cytokine response to RV16 among children? And can we discover their relationship with asthma? And as I often do in a bioinformatics project, I will start with data exploration. And by inspecting the data, I found there are batch effects in this data. And there are also a lot of missing data, and data do need to normalize. And with all this data pre-processing steps, I will omit the detail here. We have pre-processed cytokine response to RV16, which is ready for the next step, which is to find out the underlying pattern of immune response to this specific virus, RV16. The way I do this is to cluster children and to see how their immune response can cluster it into different patterns. So the model I chose to do the clustering is model-based clustering called Gaussian mixture model. The reason for choosing this model is, first of all, the data is multi-dimensional data. And also by inspecting the data, we see that data is more or less Gaussian. And also we are expecting some correlation between cytokines. And one good thing about Gaussian mixture model is it allows different clusters to have different shapes. And also, again, I will omit the details of model fitting and model selection procedure. I will only summarize our clustering results using this heat map here. So after fitting the data, after fitting the model with the data, we end up having 6 different clusters. Each has very different patterns. For example, if you look at cluster 1, which is the first row here, and cluster 4, which is the 4th row here, cluster 1 has very high inflammatory response, while cluster 4 has very low interferon response. And there are also other distinct patterns between different clusters. What we would like to know next is how is there any correlation between these patterns and children's disease such as asthma. The way we model this is to use longitudinal data, and we model the data. We model the clustering result using the asthma trajectory of the children from age 1 to age 16. And as you can see that cluster 1, which is blue line here, is associated with low asthma risk, while cluster 4, which is pink line here, is associated with early asthma onset. We also find patterns with other clinical outcomes such as wheezing or exacerbation. More details can be found in our paper. I think this is the end of the asthma project. And in addition to that, I've also been working on other projects such as RNA-seq analysis, proteomics data analysis, flow cytometry analysis, as well as analysis using clinical data, electronic health record data. So I think this is the end of my presentation. Before we go into the question, can I ask a favor? So here's the poll, and what we would like to get from the poll is what topics would interest you if tutorials or trainings are to be provided. This is some examples of topics, but don't limit it to these topics. Just it's a free text poll in Menti, and I believe the link will be provided by my colleagues in the chat. Please go to, could you follow the link and indicate your interests, which will be very helpful for us. Now I will switch to the pool to see the results. I put the data analysis using Python here myself to avoid awkwardness with our response. But if you have a spare hand, please could you go to the link and let us know your interest. I think in the meanwhile, okay, got the sequencing data, RNA-seq, single-cell RNA-seq. Okay, so in the meanwhile, I'm happy to take any questions. Thanks for everyone who has already put in your interest topic. Is there any questions?
Can I ask on Lijing?
Yes.
Do you work closely with the core facilities and the bioinformatics teams there in order to deliver any training through the core facilities?
And as far as I know, currently there's no courses provide our training available at the moment from bioinformatics core facility. So I'm not sure if there will be any coming up in the near future, but if any audience from core facility, would you be able to answer that? But at the moment, we haven't get down to the path of delivering training or tutorials together in the future. But maybe we could discuss about that with bioinformatics core facilities if they have any capacities to do that. But as we all know that bioinformatics core facilities are very busy, and providing their surveys across the faculty and universities.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Li Jing. And are there any more questions? Feel free to unmute or put the questions into the chat. Can training be provided outside of the faculty, the university, staff and researchers? So are people from outside the university welcome to attend, Li Jing?
I think you're all welcome, but I don't know if Fiona and Ali, do you think it would be possibility that people outside the university could attend the seminar, the tutorials or training then are provided by Translation Manchester?
Hi, can I ask the question? I asked this question in. Can I maybe rephrase the question, because it looked great that Li Jing, that you pulled together a load of training courses available, and I saw University of Sheffield on there, for example. Does the funding scheme support access to those training resources at other universities, or can someone from Sheffield, for example, if there was an ongoing collaboration, could one of their students or postdocs access training that you might provide or Manchester might provide?
So I think at the moment, for example, access to expertise or request bioinformatics expertise still with for the people within the university. So, but Fiona, do you think there is a capacity that external researchers could access to?
So to pay for somebody at the university to attend a say course at Sheffield, they could apply via the access to expertise to obtain the expert training that they need. For somebody, for example, from Sheffield to attend a training course here, ideally it would be through a collaboration with or on a joint project with the University of Manchester researcher, though we could look into whether it could be covered under the wider TPA network, because a number of universities have translational partnership awards. So if the university involved was part of that, we could look into it, but it would need to be on a case-by-case basis. So if you'd like to send us some more information, if you've got a specific case in mind, please do.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, thank you. Sorry if it seemed to be a bit of an awkward question. I just thought it looks like an incredible resource. So, you know, through other entities, how we could market that better, because it's really important. But thank you for your answers both. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll put our email address in the chat so that you can drop us a line.
Thanks, Fiona.
Okay, any more questions? There's one on, do we offer advice on how to analyze publicly available data?
Yeah, I think it's a very tricky question, because as we all know that the difficulties in access publicly available data from those databases. I think it should be addressed on the case-by-case basis. And currently there is a training opportunity provided by, I think it's EBI, and also other, it's a MDC Catapult. I think the course is be running on 6th of July, which provides training on how to access the public data. So I think that is something I myself really wanted to go into. So I'm also collecting, I think one of the materials on the GitHub is about using publicly available data. But this is something really, I hope we will see a training or tutorial coming up in the future from Translation Manchester.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Li Jing. And I think, is it Shalwa? Do you want to ask specifically about the COSMIC database? Did you want to expand on that a bit for us?
Hello, yes, thank you. So basically just adding to the question that was asked, basically, I think it was asked whether there was any particular database, and I thought Cosmic was one that I'm working with. If that changes the answer, or is it still the same? But yeah, thanks.
So what would you'd like to analyze some data from the Cosmic database?
Yes, yeah. So just adding to the question from Alessandro, I guess example would be Cosmic database, for example. I think that was also, I had the same question, but yeah, I just added to it basically.
Yep. Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. Cool. That'd be fun. And then I think Fatima has also asked, what is Translation Manchester? I shall put a link in the chat for our website for you to have a look at, Fatima, and you could also contact us via the email, and we'd be happy to meet with you afterwards to give you a bit more detail on who we are and what we do as a team. Cool. Thank you. Is there any more questions for Li Jing?
Sorry, yes, it's me again, Shalom. So just to ask again, you mentioned that there was a workshop on the 6th that has more information on how to access public databases. Is that correct? And how do we register for it, or can you put up the link, please?
Yeah, I think I will I'll put a link in the chat if you.
Great.
The link's in the chat, but I'll post it again for you now.
Thanks very much.
Cool. Oh, and Li Jing, could you put the MDC course link on as well if you have that? Cool.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, I think that looks like all of the questions for the moment. So I'd just like to thank this opportunity to thank Li Jing for a great presentation and for summarizing so nicely what Translation Manchester can offer in the bioinformatics space, and more specifically what Li Jing's brilliant expertise can offer in overcoming bioinformatics hurdles. Now we do have a short poll, so if you could all please stay online and complete the poll for us, that would be much appreciated. And if not, we will see you next month. Thank you. Bye.